How's it going? Welcome to another Sunday stream here. Excited to be practicing some pentatonics today, pentatonic shiftings more specifically. And this is all coming from my brand new resource with Jazz Lesson Videos. And I wrote this with Chad Lefkowitz-Brown, my mentor, and teacher, I should say, for a lot of my development. And these are the concepts that he's taught me. I've gotten from practicing myself and Jerry Bergonzi as well. So really cool to have this culmination of topics or a combination of material, kind of come from, sorry, I'm just checking the stream here, come from this, and put all together into a book that I think is really, really great. So with today's stream, I'm going to be practicing this pentatonic shifting stuff, and as always, I have the chat up, so if you're wanting to ask me a question or talk to me about whatever, let me know. But I'm going to play Bolivia up here first. I'm going to play some different pentatonics, especially over the vamp on Bolivia, and as well as playing them over changes, because I think something that isn't always talked about is how we pentatonic shift over chord progressions, not just one-chorded vamps. So I'm going to play a little bit, get warmed up on this pentatonic shifting material, and as questions flow, please, into your heads, please let me know in the chat, and yeah, let's get to streaming. I could play this all day. I could play this all night. I love this tune so much. So, thinking about pentatonics and how we shift through them and how we can practice kind of the way of moving through different tonalities on top of chord changes. Really, pentatonic shifting in a short definition, I should say, is thinking about substitutions, really. But what's cool about pentatonic shifting that's different than chord substitutions like tritone subs or imposing Coltrane changes on top, that you have to know why the substitution works over a chord. With pentatonic shifting, it's a little bit different. With pentatonic shifting, you can think about the direction of the line and the pattern itself that you're using rather than the chord progression that you're superimposing, right? So, and the direction and into where you resolve. Those are the most important parts. I think it's easy to get caught up in thinking about, why does A flat minor pentatonic work over B7? And then why do I shift to C sharp minor pentatonic? And then why do I shift to E flat major pentatonic? Like, why do those work? Don't have to worry about that nearly as much as you do on how to resolve, when to resolve, and what patterns you're playing during the pentatonic shifting. Those are the three most important keys. So in this book, we tackle those. And we have these really great things, harmony graphs here. This is the bass clef version. I got to get up my other version here. Well, we'll just run with the bass clef version. So the pentatonic harmony graph shows each one of our pentatonic scales, right? But it gives a definition as to what each one of these sound like in English words. So, going up a half step over our D minor tonality, the E flat minor, very tense and dark, really. Furthest degree away that you can go, harmonically speaking, from your one chord is up a half step, right? And then when we go to like up a whole step, definitely more harmonious because we're sharing a lot of common tones with our home scale. So with D minor, E minor has a lot of those common tones. It has E natural in it, G natural in it. Speaking of D Dorian minor, but like E, G, A, B, C natural, or B natural, D natural, E natural. Those are all inside of the key. So check it out. Here's a D minor pedal, and I play E minor pentatonic, it's nice and inside of there. All inside of the tonality. Then if I go to F, that's, moderately tense, dark for sure. Then if I go to F sharp, moderately tense and brighter, right? We're off the major third. Whoa, kind of a question mark there. Super dense, super dark. So now what if I go to G minor? Sorry. Right? So G minor has a harmonious sound, pretty much. The only note that rubs is B flat, but for the most part. Then G sharp minor, very tense and bright. Right? That's up a tritone. A minor, harmonious. All inside. B flat minor. Moderately tense, but sort of inside in the flat key direction. B minor. So, a little tense. C minor. And pretty tense. And C sharp minor. Pretty tense there as well, right? So all these have different degrees. And then what we show you in this book is how we can shift through different degrees here in different patterns. And the way that we memorize these are in skips and steps method, the skips and steps method, right? You know what? I'm just going to pull this up. Never mind. I don't know why my bass clef version is up here. Whoops. I don't know why it's not on my computer. I'm going to airdrop it to myself. Give me 1 second. Da, 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 da. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, I don't know why my computer does not have the saved version. Here we go. I'm gonna send it. Perfect. There we go. Okay. Now we're in trouble, class. Now we're in my land. Come on. Okay. Cool. So if we go to these patterns of skips and steps after going through the harmony graph here, we have a couple different ways of shifting. One is through common tones, and one is through the nearest degree, right? And our nearest degree section kind of is less of a defined sound, in my opinion, than using common tones. Common tones have more of a defined sound because we're taking a sound of a scale and linking them together with a common note. And that to me sounds a little bit more grounded in the tonalities of each one of these scales. I don't know. You can be the judge of this yourself. But what's cool about this book is they're all based in D minor tonality, right? So concert C minor. A D minor for me on tenor. Right? And so through that sound, we are always shifting back and forth from that tonality in different amounts of phrases, right? This first section is in 8-bar phrases, right? So in these 8-bar phrases, 6 of these bars are away from our home tonality, and 2 of them are starting and ending in that tonality. So our home pentatonic is D minor. Right? And so let me just play this first pattern for you, and I'll talk about it here in a second. Consistency of the pattern is there. The consistency of the pattern is there, but the shifting, right? We're taking the same exact pattern and we're shifting via common tone. The common tone between D and G is G. G and B flat is B flat. B flat and A flat is A flat. A flat and F sharp is G flat or F sharp. F sharp and A is A. A and E is E or D or A. And then E and D is D. So that's the common tone that we're shifting, but the pattern is staying the same. This pattern is step up, step up, step up, skip up. Or the descending is step down, step down, step down, skip down. So if I play that just diatonically in D, and then everything else is being shifted. So this is the first method of pentatonic shifting, using a common tone, keeping a pattern going, and playing it over a set of changes. So, for example, I'm going to go to a tune that's in D minor, like Softly as the Morning Sunrise. I'm going to play this pattern, and then I'm going to improvise with it. play diatonic pentatonics through that progression and playing that on top of just a D minor tune, like Softly's Morning Sunrise. Or you could take Mr. PC or something that's in D minor, right? And you can also apply this to tunes that are not in D minor, but like F major or F7, because D minor and F are related to each other, right? So I could take like There Will Never Be Another You. Check this out. A lot of common tones of D, F, G, A, C, and D. So I can still be my home scale. Check this out. I'm going to play the same pattern 1 here and improvise with it. You only hear the track. Oh, okay. Thank you for letting me know. Let me try that one more time here. Make sure my connection is still good. Test. Okay. Let me turn my saxophone mic up a little bit. All right. One more time. I just want the first 8 bars here. Appreciate it. I'm still new to streaming, so thanks for the help on the technical side. Yeah, so that's what I like to do when I'm practicing, method books like this, is to take a pattern from the book that has common tones with the progression that I'm used to playing, like There Will Never Be Another You or a blues or whatever, and take that pattern and just improvise with it, right? That's what I'm really, really trying to work on. A bit harsh, but it's okay. Yeah, it's a little distorted. Let me know. I think I need to get a new interface. That's definitely the issue, I think. Also, is it mono still, or is it or like, is it one side, or is it coming out through both sides? Let me know. I'm gonna try and fix that for you guys. If it's, let's see. Yeah, is it only coming out of one side, or is it coming out of two? Let me know. I think it should be coming out of both. Okay, so that means like it's cool. Yeah, it's clipping both iReal and the mic. Oh, interesting. Still killing. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. I think it's only coming out of the left channel. Oh, interesting. It should be coming out of both sides. Let me know if this changes anything. Oh, I can, okay. Yeah, let me know if it's a little bit better now. Sorry about that. Thanks again for the feedback. But yeah. Yeah, left for me as well. Dang, dude, what the heck? Just changed to both. Okay, cool. Okay, seems like I fixed it. Good. Yeah, I'll try and mess with the levels to make it not clip. OBS is... Okay, cool. All right. Cool, thanks for the feedback on that. Good. Appreciate you guys being here. Yeah, just also let me know if you have any questions while we're going through this. Definitely want to keep this conversational. So for pentatonic shifting, this is legitimately a matter of learning these patterns, being comfortable with the patterns, and then finding common tones to resolve these patterns in, right? So one of my favorite parts of the book is the section where we go back and forth between a home pentatonic and a different tonality, all these different degrees of away from the home, right? So we always go back to D minor. That's our home scale for like the whole book. And it's your job to put it through different keys. But we shift different intervals away using that minor pentatonic scale. So we go D to E, D to F, D to E flat, go through all 12 keys. We have 4 different examples. And these are not with a set pattern. These are like more improvised ways of getting back and forth. So if I'll do D minor and F minor. How's that sound? Not bad? Ryan, was Coltrane / McCoy the first players to start exploring pentatonic shifting? Ooh, good question. I don't think they were the first ones to explore it necessarily, but I do think they were the first to put it kind of in the context of the book that I wrote with Chad, if that makes sense. Because there's a lot of different ways you can pentatonic shift, but I think this format of doing it kind of in the angular, modern way, they would maybe be the first, especially the first people that influenced myself, and I think Chad as well. But, you can hear pentatonics in like Dexter Gordon's playing a little bit. You can hear it in, some of the older generations playing. Oh, excuse me. But in a different context, right? It's not like, they're not playing it in this like shifting up and down kind of way of like intervallically angular sort of style of playing. Super mega noob question. Your mouthpiece is pulled way out. What's the reason for that? Oh, it's actually not that far out. It's just the cork is really long on this horn, and the color of this looks like it's kind of a part of the cork. So the cork is, it's a little bit longer to start with, but it's not as long as it looks. And so it's actually like halfway. It's about halfway in here. But I also play kind of sharp anyway, so there's that. But yeah. But good question. What's Chad LB's net worth? That's funny. I don't know. You have to ask him. Yeah, good question. How are you? I'm doing great. Thanks for being here. It's fun to be here on stream with you guys. But yeah, so I think Coltrane and McCoy were the first to do it in the style that this book is written and that I love the most. It's like my favorite kind of playing is definitely this sort of way. So again, practicing it with this kind of tonality in mind. So sometimes I'll just pedal an open fifth on the piano, and then so just going back and forth a minor third apart. See if I can do this at the same time. Ugh. So I'm going back and forth between D and F. Now let's take a minor vamp-ish tune like Mr. PC. Whoops. Yeah, here we go. And I'm just going to work on this section here. Slow it down a little bit. And I'm just going to shift between D and F minor. Playing 10 notes through that. Okay, got some good questions. Is it okay to memorize the sentences after writing them down in all 12 keys, or should I start by transposing it in my head? I would start by memorizing them in your head first, and then maybe write them down later, but don't use the writing them down as a crutch. Did Grossman and Brecker ever record together? Is there any bootlegs of them playing together? That would have been insane. Great question. Not that I know of, but I know that they knew each other and practiced together. And, well, I do know that Michael Brecker was a very big fan of Steve Grossman. And anytime Steve was playing jazz festivals where the Brecker brothers were on it, like Brecker was going to check him out and stuff. And a bass player I play with a lot named Gene Perla has told me stories about them being together and whatnot. I don't know if they ever recorded together, though. It's still difficult for me with longer phrases. Yeah, so when you're having difficulty with longer phrases... Oh, shoot. Not my camera battery. Let me change here. Okay. Sorry for the lower quality. These batteries go in and out so quickly. Yeah, so part of the whole Brecker and Grossman thing, I think, is like, you know, knowing the lineage between the two of them. So if people are confused, like Steve Grossman influenced Michael Brecker a ton, and a lot of my favorite Brecker stuff kind of came influenced by the great Steve Grossman as well. So that's why that is there. Also, going back to this is difficult for me with longer phrases. I would really focus on learning longer patterns and like practicing patterns through the range of your horns, so you feel like you can play them on a larger scale. You know what I mean? So if you're playing. Start up on high F. You know, really do it full range. Why did Channel B kill Saxologic's channel? Whoa, now you're asking some interesting questions. Well, I am not related to any of that, so you'll have to ask those cats. But I mean, Saxologic's channel's not dead. So, yeah, that's kind of the vibe with playing the longer phrases, at least, is being able to play longer patterns. And then when you're shifting through these pentatonics, you can absolutely just continue the pattern through different key centers as you're going down your full range of your horn. So check it out. So I shift to C sharp, and then I shift to E flat. You know what I mean? Like, you can shift to different keys, just keeping the same pattern going up and going down. And that's what we have written down in the first sections of the book, is that kind of way of playing. So I'm going to play a whole couple courses of Mr. PC, just so you can kind of hear it. And I'm going to shift through a bunch of different tonalities going up and down. I'm going to look at one of my patterns here. Yeah, let's look at this one. This is shifting to the nearest degree without a pattern. So I'm trying to keep a pattern consistent, and I'm trying to, in some sections, and I'm trying to keep the cycle of these pentatonics in the realm of sharing common tones, like these examples here. Shifting to the nearest degree, like these examples are here. That's the second two sections of the book. First two are common tone shifting, and the second two are nearest degree shifting. And between all of these, by the way, if for those of you that are just joining us, this is from the new resource called the Pentatonic Shifting Method book by myself and Chad Lefkowitz-Brown, and that's what we're talking about. All these patterns are coming from that book. And cool thing, if you guys are here on the stream, you can use the code SHIFT5 for $5 off if you want to buy it on the link in the link in the description below, just for being here, hanging out with me, get a little discount. So that is awesome. So these are the shifting with common tone section. We are keeping a common tone the same between two pentatonics and using that note to shift either with a pattern or without a pattern. And then sections, here we go. Sections 3 and 4 are shifting to the closest degree. So when we shift pentatonics, we are using that closest degree to then shift between the two. Okay, here we go. What do you think about the travel sax? Man, I have never used one. I'd definitely be down to try one out someday. So maybe I should go check one out. But I've never used one, so I don't have any thoughts on it yet. But I've heard really good things about it. Okay, cool, yeah. So these are the examples going through those. And then we have the home scale section, shifting from a home scale, which is where we're going from D to E flat, D to E, right? Going up and down like that, and shifting with no pattern, no common tones necessarily, just to the nearest degree with a home scale involved. So that we have going there through all 12 keys. And then we have these fill-in-the-blank sections, which is really cool. So you can continue the pattern going from these and shift with your own pentatonic ideas with or without a pattern, right? And we have these little workout sheets for you here. So yeah, that's the goal with this book, is to basically teach you how to pentatonic shift better with a pattern and without. So that way, when you get to a playing situation and you hear that pentatonic sound, in your head, like if you've heard your favorite players do, we'll kind of get into that mode of playing through these in a systematic way. Like you have a system of these kind of in mind. Because, saying pentatonic shifting, it's like very open-ended. Like you can use a lot of different ways to shift through tonality. So this book is supposed to give you a method, aka why it's called a method book, to be able to move through and pentatonic shift a little bit better as you're improvising. So yeah. And then section 10 is these chromatic patterns. So we're taking the patterns and we're going up and down chromatically from each degree of our pentatonic scale, which is really cool. So again, it helps you kind of form those longer lines, as we got a question in the chat about earlier. Right, we're taking that and we're moving it up and down chromatically from every degree of our scale. Sorry. That's for the root. Here's from the third, right? We have it put down here. So going through each degree makes it way easier to then be able to shift through these without thinking about them from any place on your instrument. Can you do pentatonic shifting in all the things you are? Absolutely. Let's check it out. All right, pentatonic shifting coming right up. Example in the entire world, but that's kind of the way I like to think about it. I love transposing. I want to get super good at it. Yeah, me too. I love it too. Yeah, transposing on the spot is really great. Whoa. Thank you, man. Hopefully that's a good whoa. Maybe it's coming, but I'd love to see this over a standard non-modal tune. Perfect. Yeah, here, I'll do another one. What's another standard? Let's see. Another common standard. Anybody got? That was perfect. Thank you. Anybody got another standard? I'll play one more tune. First tune to come in mind. Let me know. Let me know what tune you want me to play. Or else I'm just going to link. Green Dolphin Street. Perfect. Okay. All right, here we go. thinking way too much. I wish I could pay Ryan to play at my house calling standards for hours. I would do it. I would totally do it. Not in a weird, creepy way, but I love playing standards on command, just when people call them out. All right, well, I got to go actually practice and do some things for jazz lesson videos, which I'm excited about, that are releasing soon. So what are the main steps you take on the pentatonic studies as a new guy to pentatonic shifting? I'm so buying this book. Woohoo! Yes, please do. And use that code shifting shift 5. It's in the description. What is it exactly? Shift 5 for $5 off. So when you get the book, you can absolutely save some money. But yeah, first steps are with pentatonic shifting is to learn your minor pentatonics. You got to learn the minor pentatonics so that you can then put them into patterns and then put them into different progressions like we have listed out here in all these books, or in this book specifically. We do have a pentatonic package that you can grab on the Jazz Lesson Video website that has all of the pentatonic books into one. And I also believe that that's on discount right now, so definitely check that out. But yeah, that's absolutely the best way to go about it. Learn all your minor pentatonics so that you can then put them into playing by just being able to have these patterns kind of in your mind. And then you can just call out different keys, which is exactly what pentatonic shifting is. And this book writes them out for you, and I'm super happy and proud of it. And if you want, a little bit more of a detailed kind of organized way of practicing this, I have a great video out on YouTube on this book in pentatonic shifting. So definitely check that out. And catch me next week on stream. Next week I should be streaming on Sunday. So definitely looking forward to that. I had the last pentatonic book of Chad. Awesome. Yeah, this is a continuation of those pentatonic books. This one's just really focused on the pentatonic shifting stuff. So if you're interested in that, definitely check it out. Click that link in the description. Shift 5 for $5 off. And I'll catch you guys next week. Thank you so much for being here.